All right. So the last thing we wanted to do here is we have some questions, a little bit of AMA. So with that being said, it is our favorite time of the week again when we get to answer a few of your questions. Saagar, what is up first?
Number one. From Daniel Switala. This is also an AMA tradition, butchering people's names.
I'm sorry about that, guys.
It's a bit odd because I'm reading a question for myself. Saagar's intro. Saagar, would you just once change the iconic good morning intro to hello and good tidings? Though I'd have to be an episode where we actually have good news. Well, this does sound like a good news, good vibe show that we are having here. I'm not exactly sure where maybe this is one of our London guests who is attending.
Good tidings, sir.
Good tidings. Shout out to them. Unfortunately, no, I won't be changing it.
Let me give it. Yeah, you're stuck with that for life. You know, it's funny because we fall into these patterns that we don't even really realize. And then it comes to, be a thing when we didn't really mean it to be a thing. But on a serious note, we have been genuinely trying to put more good news in the show. And I guess, I'd love to get feedback from you guys about whether that's something that you would like, because obviously I appreciate hearing that, because obviously there's a million bad things we could cover every day, but not everything in the world is negative. So, for example, we covered the story about the California sectoral bargaining. There's a big response to that. So we're looking for more ways to put some positive things in the show. So thank you for that feedback.
What's next, Krystal?
All right. See, this is an example of something I did not even know we do.
Same. That's why
Number 2. I don't have the names for this one. So do you have the names? No. Okay. Why do you use the term horrific so much? I started a drinking game. Whenever either of you say horrific, I take a drink. Usually this happens while mowing the lawn, LOL. After one episode, I could not walk a straight line, yet alone drive a straight line. You guys should have a shot. Fun times. See, I didn't know that we say horrific a lot.
I didn't know.
Apparently we do.
Question. Okay, so what, Marshall, you can't, we were going to ask you guys. So Marshall, you say it first. What is something that I say, what's one of my other verbal tics that people could turn into a boondoggle? That's a good one.
Oh, boondoggle.
I didn't even know I said that.
It's not quite a tic. It's just sort of like a phrase you use, and like as your co-host, I listen to you. The way you say.
In order to. People hate that one. I know. I've been trying. I'm trying. Go ahead, Marshall.
The word I immediately thought of was like the way you say "these people" is so vehement and like hateful. Like if you watch the two of us together on a show, we'll be like interviewing a guest, and Saagar will say "these people," and my face will contort. I'm getting better at hiding it, but I'll just be like, "Oh my god!" Like there's just so much hate contained in 2 words. So that's my version of this.
The contempt-filled "these people."
Right.
This is kind of dangerous because Kyle and I did just get engaged, but I'm gonna ask him anyway. What is the thing that I say? What's my verbal tic?
Why would you guys put me in this position?
You're on the spot, my man.
You already actually know what it is because we've talked about it before.
Really?
Writ large.
Writ large.
That is a good one.
And I'll tell you why. Writ large is clear and obvious is what writ large means, but you use it to mean like
overall.
More generally.
Like etc.
You use it to mean like
etc. too.
I didn't know that.
So
that's
you're
what
like
means.
grammar police me right now? That's what's happening? Really?
This is why I didn't want to answer it, because I have a real answer.
Really?
It's a joke.
Okay.
So anyway, that's it. We're done.
Now we're in a fight. Take the ring off.
Next question. I love this question. Hey guys, big fan of the show. This question is for both of you, or all of us. If you were to choose one country the United States should model itself after, what should it be? Slovenia.
Definitely Slovenia. 100% Slovenia.
Kyle, you can go first.
You're asking me?
Yes.
Shit, I'll take any of the Scandinavian countries.
Okay.
Any of them.
I think my quick answer here would be, I think in a weird way, France.
Based Marshall.
Bold choice.
Based Marshall.
Bold choice.
Based Marshall over here.
Give me a quick 10 seconds here. The idea is I really like the idea that the French renew themselves like a first republic, a second republic, a third, a fourth, a fifth, it gives like a really helpful construct for like reimagining the way things are. And things are really shitty right now. I wish we could bring that mentality
That's
here.
a great fucking answer.
That was a great answer. Yeah, that was a wonderful answer. I love that. And I'll take their healthcare system.
I mean, I'm sort of half going to steal Kyle's answer, and I'm half going to steal what I know Saagar's going to say, because we talked about this earlier. But I mean, I also, the Scandinavian country, the thing that you can't argue with there is they always get like the best rating on happiness of the population. And like, if we're not going for the general well-being of our people, I don't know what we're really doing. So they're obviously doing something right there, in spite of the fact that, like, you know, it's really cold and it gets dark super early and
I can't take
whatever.
that, yeah.
Like,
Bad
they're
coffee.
still like, I love life and this is amazing. So that seems like there's something to learn there. But the other thing I would point to is our own history, New Deal era, where we were in the business of, you know, setting up a safety net for people, and it wasn't perfect and had all kinds of problems. But the thought was, we're going to put a floor underneath everyone. We're going to make sure that we have prosperity that's broadly shared. You had huge rates of unionization. You had a real middle class. I mean, really, our middle class has had its knees totally cut out from under it, legs totally, whatever. I'm using whatever. You know the saying.
We get it. Writ large.
Writ large. Writ large.
Writ large.
You have a shrinking middle class. So that's what I would go back to, instead of the like Gilded Age land of plutocrats that we exist in now.
That's, you know, very similar to my answer. Shocking. Mine is the United States in the 1960s. I think we're fundamentally a different country than we were at that time. And, well, Ira, me.
I'm with you. I don't know what he's talking
I
about.
heard that voice.
Dude, at least
I didn't
say
say 1963.
At least say 1970. Like, why you gotta go all the way to the 60s?
Like that. 1969 is the year that we put a man on the moon. It was whenever we were torn apart at our absolute seams, but it's also whenever we accomplished amazing technological feats. It was right before the explosion, as I talked about earlier, wages, inflation. It's whenever we had New Deal support. It was before the era of neoliberalism. It was a time of choice. It's, you know, I think about, actually the time of choosing speech was given very close to that time. So when I just think about what went wrong, it started around then. I'm not saying things were perfect, but I wish we could go back and make several different choices. And to, you know, steal on Marshall's answer, I love that idea of a national reimagining. I think that's exactly what we are.
Yeah, I like that too.
Well, I want to live in a country where we have $10 crudité. That's all I'm really thinking.
Yeah, that's what we're all after here.
Which founding father thought we should have a constitutional convention like every 20 years?
30 years. That was Thomas Jefferson.
Hamilton,
he wanted
right?
an American Revolution every 20 years, I believe. I believe the quote, and I don't want to butcher it, is the tree of liberty should be watered with the blood of patriots from time to time.
No, we're not going that far.
And by the way, Thomas Jefferson started UVA, and he said that it should be, and I quote, free forever.
Yes.
Just an aside. I'm just saying.
Now they charge 30. We looked this up earlier. How much?
Oh,
how
yeah.
much
Now
Krystal went there.
out-of-state tuition is now $50K.
55.
That is not free.
It's insane.
Last time I checked.
Insane. Yeah, that's where I went to school.
What is
and
this?
It's sad. Okay. Next question. Dear K and S, you both talk a lot about how inaccurate the mainstream media is. Facts.
True.
But I noticed that sometimes you feature a story from the New York Times or Washington Post, treat it like it is unquestionably true. How do you know which ones to believe? How do you avoid the effect of confirmation bias? Saagar, you want to take a crack at this one
That's
first?
a phenomenal question.
Very good
And it's
question.
actually a tough
Something
one
we
that we're gonna
struggle
have to
with,
deal
definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, frankly, because of your support, we've been able to get more direct resources. We sent Jordan Sheridan down to Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
We had direct footage from
Yes.
what that horrific crisis looked like. We had footage on the ground from campaigns and more. We're a young company. At the end of the day, like, we're trying our best. We're building and we're scaling as sustainably as possible. But we have to rely on the internet, on people who are out there. So I think going through and understanding to read the news at a depth, to do exactly what all of us can be guilty of from time to time, simply believing the headline. Look for the individual reporters, people that you can know have a track record of trust. Maybe not one who's cried on national television recently that we discussed. Look for not just the paper, because these people move around all the time. Look for their citations. Check their citations. Use your own knowledge about what you know about that fact in order to see if that matches up. That's something that we do every single day on our editorial call. Whenever we decide, we don't just take anything willy-nilly and put it into the show.
Honestly,
there's a tremendous amount of thought that goes into it.
Honestly, I think part of what helps us is the fact that Saagar and I exist in different media ecosystems. So like what I see in my Twitter feed and like the stories that people are really animated and sharing whatever and what is in his can oftentimes be very different. So sometimes I'll float a story and he'll be like, you know, there was this and that problem with it. That didn't show up in my feed at all. Or he'll float a story and I'll be like, you know, that got like debunked and here's the real facts behind it. So that honestly does help keep us honest. Now,
what about Patagonia? We should talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great example. So did you guys see? So, I mean, listen, I obviously very concerned about the climate crisis, and to see someone, you know, giving up his company and saying, I want to use all the proceeds to benefit the climate crisis. I'm like, that's a beautiful thing. And I have all kinds of issues with billionaires controlling nonprofit, all that stuff. But still, it's like, okay, this is a beautiful thing. But when the New York Times covered it, they went out of their way to say that the way he did this from a tax perspective would not provide him any benefit and was totally different from the way that this right-wing billionaire sold his company to donate to his cause. Well, I mean, they just were totally wrong. They got the facts completely factually wrong. They basically handle it the same way. They both are getting a tax benefit. Now, I have no issue with the New York Times explicitly saying, like, I think this cause is better than that cause. I agree with that. So it's not even so much that, like, they have an ideological lens. It's that they just are bad at their jobs and got duped and were totally, completely wrong. The questioning of that showed up in your feed.
Yeah.
Before, because immediately when I brought it up, you're like, oh, I think there's some issues with that. And then sure enough, it was totally fucking wrong the way they did it. So that's an example where, you know, the fact that we have these different ideological lenses and have different media that comes across our radar, to use an old term, definitely helps us sort of sort through what is accurate and what is very questionable.
And I will say, I think print is always better than TV news.
Oh, of course.
So like when I'm watching MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, even like the nightly news, I think they're horrendous. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about, you know, the print outlets you just mentioned, there are instances where it's like, well, you really messed that one up.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you're going to get good information from print outlets because there's a lot of people who put a lot of time into that. Jeff Stein, Washington Post.
I think the big thing is to understand what their biases are. And if the story feels too convenient for their biases, then be more questioning. If
you need to have a bullshit meter. You have to have a bullshit meter.
Yeah, that's the big thing. And if it's a single source story or, you know, there's a lot that we look at that we consider covering and we say, we're going to wait and see how this one shakes out. And that has been rewarded multiple times.
Yeah, one of the most valuable things. And look, I mean, you know, the lesson, not just from us, for everyone, is just talk to other people, see what they heard, put it all together. Like, that's how you ultimately arrive at something that possibly could be the truth or directionally towards it.
Yeah.
Final question from James L. What is your end goal for Breaking Points?
World domination.
CNN acquisitions.
CNN
Never in a million years.
Can you imagine?
They can never pay us.
Wait, are you saying they buy CNN or CNN buys them?
No, that we buy CNN.
Oh, we would never buy such a worthless property. But
you got to spare like $17 quadrillion sitting around.
Here's the crazy thing.
It's up to you, donors.
How do you answer that question when we were never supposed to be here in the first place? Like, how do you answer that question when we never even knew that this was even possible? I mean, when we met, you know, a couple years ago and we initially even started taking it off, to even see 1,000 people watch what we had to say, Krystal,
oh my
was
God,
the
we're
craziest
like, oh my
feeling
God.
of my entire life.
Yeah.
I was like, 1,000? Now there's almost 1,000 people in this room.
We got asked, we did an interview with a New Yorker writer.
Yes.
And he asked us, like, what's your exit strategy? And we're like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, what is it? Iraq? Exit strategy? What are you talking about?
We didn't know how to process the question. I don't know if you guys want us to have a big grand plan or vision. Maybe you do, but honestly, we've just tried to take it step by step and just do the best we can. First it was let's get our show off the ground. Let's see if there's, an audience that will back us. Let's see if we can get enough premium subscribers to support this thing. So we got that going, felt really good about where we were in the show we were putting on and what we were able to provide. And then it was, okay, how can we enrich this ecosystem? So it's not just us, so that we have, people who are also independent creators who we really like and respect that can add to the channel, that can provide additional perspective, additional research, additional breaking news. And that's how the partner project comes to be. And so now we have all these incredible partners who have their own specialties, or, in the case again of Jordan Chariton and Status Quo, are doing on the ground reporting or breaking news or investigative journalists like The Lever. I mean, they do incredible work holding power to account. So that was the next phase. And then equally sort of accidental, I know it seems like we were trying to stick Rising, I swear. We really weren't, by, bringing Ryan and Emily over. They were interested, and we're very excited about Counterpoint. So let's give a round of applause for them.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and the show launched today. I actually, before coming out and talking to you guys, was watching a little bit of it. It looks great. We're super comfortable. I think they put on a phenomenal show today. The response today has been wonderful. So that's really, really exciting to be able to bring in two people that we really respect and trust. And that doesn't mean we agree with them all the time or whatever. They've got their own views. That's fine. But we know that they have sort of the core ethos of Breaking Points in mind that they're bringing to their show as well. So they came to us. They were interested in going independent. We thought, this would be a great fit for our channel. So that's kind of how we've approached it. Now, overall, I would say directionally, what we're interested in doing is, really having the pieces to challenge the mainstream media. Now, we don't have the sort of ego to say we're ever going to replace them or, totally supplant them or anything like that. But by having Ryan, who does his own direct reporting, by having on-the-ground reporting, by having some of those pieces, we really are focused on making it a more complete ecosystem so that we can be in the position to provide you guys with the best information and the best product possible. So that's the way we think about these
My
things.
end goal is, as long as you guys are there, we're going to keep working our asses off. We're going to keep building it and giving you everything we possibly could. I mean, broken record, but it was never even supposed to be here. And then the more you guys show up, the more work that we're going to put into it. We're going to build it. We're going to continue to hire and look for more people, bring them on. And then the more you guys watch it, the more you guys have supported us. It's build it out. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will. I mean, look, I can't tell you the amount of BS people that come out of the woodwork whenever they see us at the top of the charts. And they're like, have you guys the NFT thing? We were talking about this earlier. Somebody wanted us to launch an NFT. In every single one of these cases, we just do the same thing. We bet on the audience. We know that they showed up for us in a big way, not only when we launched, but continually, because they like it too. And, it just grows so consistently and slowly with so much of your guys' support that we're just going to keep going along organically, because that is the only thing that we really believe in, is every single one of you who are out there, those of you who stuck with us from the beginning, those of you who joined just yesterday, it doesn't matter. It's just so valuable so valuable to us and to exactly what we're trying to do. So just my final thank you to all of you.
Yes, it was truly a big week for us, both with the launch of Counterpoints and then getting to come back out on the road. So it means everything to us that you guys came, those of you who are from here, those of you who are from other states, those of you who are from other countries. Truly, thank you from the bottom of our heart. We have one more thing we got to do before we go, which is we got to give a shout out to our producer, the wonderful James Lynch.
Yes. James, come out here.
Where you at, James? James, where are you?
There's the man himself.
Take a bow for the people.
Oh, there he is.
Take a bow, James.
Now,
this man is behind the scenes and he makes it all happen.
he is truly, we have a lot of wonderful people who help us put the show on, but James is there with us on every editorial call. I mean, he's...
Sure, if he wants to.
If he wants
James,
to,
me and you against them, let's do it.
But we just launched this whole show, and James, we are going to hire another person. We're trying to sort through the resumes
Thanks
right now.
you.
Thank you to everyone amazing who sent one in. We really appreciate it. We're actually overwhelmed by the number of responses, which is a beautiful thing. But right now we haven't hired that person. So this is all falling on James. He has done heroic work. So please give him the biggest round of applause.
Thank you, James.
Love you, James.
Say hi to him at the merch table after this.
He said he'll be selling stuff in the lobby if you want to come see him.
And a big thank you to all the stage guys here working on this for us. We really couldn't have done it without them.
They've done a phenomenal job.
Lighting crew.
By the way, just so everybody knows, I didn't even know that these microphones that we have here, which are normally podcasting microphones, I had no idea you could set them up so that you get audio in a room like this while also getting live podcast audio. I mean, that's crazy. It probably cost $1 gazillion to do, and these guys worked really hard to get that done. So thanks again, guys. We really appreciate it.
Our team does an amazing job. They do it all with your support. I just can't thank all of you enough for coming out. It means the world to me, to Krystal, to all of us, and every single time that we get to meet you guys in person, like, it just literally gives me life. In the last case, it gave me life for 2 full years to keep this up, to take the leap, to think that Krystal and I could actually do this thing, and just the joy and the drive that it gives us to know that there are people like you out there who are consuming this. It's why I wake up every single day. And so, again, my final thank you to all of you. If you guys are interested, as we said, James is going to be at the merch table. As we've, have always committed, all of our merch is 100% made in the USA, union-made shop. It costs a little bit more.
It does cost a little more, but we didn't want to skimp on our values. How do we normally close the show during the normal show?
How do we usually close the show?
You tell everybody that I have to pee, and then I run off stage, because that's what's going on right now.
I think what we usually do is a sales pitch. I'm going to spare everybody that.
We'll skip the sales pitch and just say, we love y'all. Thank you so much, and we will see you.
Thank you.
We'll see you all next time. We'll see you on Breaking Points. I want to thank every single one of you. Thank you so much. Afterwards. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Atlanta.